Welcome back, everybody, to another Just Talking Ball podcast. Really excited to begin into another podcast here. So today we got the Broncos recap from yesterday in the win against the Titans. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate if you all could like, subscribe, share this wherever. It would just be really appreciated. I'm really liking making these so far, and uh, I can't wait to make more. Really. So without further ado, let's just dive right into the game. So obviously it didn't go how it was really supposed to. Um, in my opinion, this game was supposed to be not easy. No game in the NFL is easy, but it should have been a lot easier than that. Um, we just couldn't get anything going to start. Um, we had that first drive where we marched down the field pretty good. Some really nice throws from Bo. Uh, didn't really incorporate the run game much there. But obviously he rolled out to his left a lot, made some really good throws, but then really stalled out. We had a penalty, and that was pretty much the best we saw of the offense until the fourth quarter with the run game there. And really coming into this game, I thought we'd be seeing the run game a lot more. I was expecting to see the run game a lot more. It was really disappointing not to see that. Um, and we again, I was just expecting us to really pound it to start. Um, I was thinking this game wouldn't be a blowout really, but I was thinking we'd win by at least 10. It kind of just seemed like we didn't come into this game prepared like at all really. It seems like we kind of took them really lightly, and I mean it's a game we definitely should have won and should win, but we just came out acting like we didn't have to prepare for them at all. It seemed like. And that's just not the mentality you can go into a game with in the NFL because they'll come back to bite you, and it almost did for us. But our defense was insane. So let's just kind of go quarter to quarter here. First quarter, like I said, it started out pretty good. Bo put together a pretty nice first drive, made some really nice rollouts to his left, was moving the ball downfield pretty well, and then it really got stalled with a penalty. We started using Bidet for a lot of plays for some reason, as we got closer to the red zone there. And he got a ton of like targets there, a ton of reps there. Really, he got way too much run than I thought he should have, and I really didn't understand that. Obviously, that stalled out field goal. And then man, our defense is so good. There's just you can't put into words how much they saved this game. Um, Nick Bonino went absolutely insane. Just it seems like he was getting the pressure almost every snap. Sertan, you didn't even know he was playing because he was just locking down defenders. Uh, he was just locking down receivers the whole entire time, per usual. Everybody looked really good. I thought Sternad looked really good. I was really excited to see that, especially last season. He started out good, but he really fell off towards the end, so that was really good to see him ball out there, kind of. Secondary looks good. Moss got beat a couple times. Don't love that, but hopefully he gets a little better with that. Ufunga, he's a baller. His support in the run game is so huge. I cannot wait for him and Greenlaw to be there because our run defense is going to be absolutely spectacular. Like Joel said in the last podcast, he predicted that our run defense would be better than our pass, and I think that's 1,000% a really real possibility. Uh, I mean, it looked really good. We were stuffing lots of runs. Pollard was able to break a few here and there, but that's going to happen in the NFL. And apart from that, we really shut them down really well. And yeah, that's really all I can say about the defense there. I mean, they just looked great the whole entire game. It wasn't just the first quarter, second quarter, third. It was just the whole entire game. The second quarter, that's where it really got ugly. That's where Bo threw his first INT, I'm pretty sure. Or no, that's the first quarter actually. Man, yeah. Um, it was a rough game from Bo. He really reverted back to see the week one last year. It just did not look like the Bo we saw week three on from last year. It was just really ugly. Making bad reads, throwing the ball too late. Um, yeah, it's just not what we normally and will normally see from Bo. He's going to be a lot better. I can guarantee that. I'm fully confident he will be perfectly fine. Um, yeah, it's just it was a really ugly game from him. Come the second quarter, I really liked what I saw from Ellis. He got sacked there. I'm pretty sure that was the second quarter. Um, he got sacked there. He's such a good backup to have on this team. He's starting on basically maybe all the other teams in the NFL apart from ours. Our defense is just so good this year. It's the depth we have is crazy. Tillman, he looked pretty good. He had a I don't know if it counted as a half sack with him and Zach Allen, but it definitely could have. He created lots of the pressure and then Zach finished it. It was just great defense all around. Vance did a really good job with rotating defenders in and out. We didn't see we didn't see any backups get exposed or anything. It was just really well executed on defense. It was almost a perfect game from the defense. I would say it was pretty much perfect. I mean, we didn't allow a single touchdown, so I mean, yeah, that it was just a really good game. We didn't. I was just double checking we didn't allow a touchdown, but we didn't. Um, yeah, again, that was just a great game from our defense. They stepped up in every single moment when they had every reason to fail this offense because of how bad they were playing. It was just we would not. This game would have been terrible without our defense. I'll tell you that much. Um, so I mean that's kind of I didn't really go quarter to quarter like I said I would there, but kind of covered all the bases there. So just some points I took away from this game, especially in the first half here. Tyler Bidet had 6 targets, and RJ and JK combined only had 7 carries. That's just unacceptable, really. I do not, but I like Bidet. He's a fine running back, but to have almost as many targets as our two top running backs do carries, that should not be happening whatsoever. I mean, he had one drop in there. He does not need to be out there and getting that many targets, and there's just no reason for him to be playing that much at all. He actually had a couple drops in there. Yeah, it was just a pretty bad game from him, and we just kept rolling him out there, especially in the first half. I did not understand that at all. Sean didn't pound the rock like I thought he would. Especially with RJ, he barely used him in the first half. I feel like JK got used okay, I guess. But yeah, but they getting almost more targets than RJ and JK get carries combined in the first half. That was just there's no reason that should be happening. It makes zero sense. Obviously, that didn't help whatsoever. Um, there's just no reason for that to be happening when RJ and JK both are doing good on limited snaps, pretty much. There's just no reason for Bidet to be out there. It was ridiculous, honestly. Another thing I saw that I didn't like, lots of these are going to be things I don't really like and they're all going to be offense related because our offense it sucked. It was bad. Um, another thing I really didn't like was our receivers they cannot separate whatsoever. I feel like every throw Bo had to make was the defender was within 1 to 2 yards every single time. Um, we barely got any separation. Obviously, Court, he's a great jump ball guy. Um, he's not really gonna separate a ton, but he definitely should be in our WR1 some. Um, but yeah, there just wasn't any separation. Bo had to make lots of tight window throws, and he did that first drive really well. And then we kind of just stopped letting them throw from the pocket. It was lots of rollouts, and eventually the defense is going to figure that out when we're not even running the ball and doing play action rollouts. So obviously that's not going to work out. I did not understand the play calling whatsoever there. Even Sean after the game said he needs to be better, and we've been hearing that. I feel like almost after every loss last year and to this year now, even though we won, but I feel like he's just been saying that, and I'm still kind of waiting to see that executed. It just was not a very good game from him. Uh, he's kind of known to troll week one though, so it's not a good excuse, but I don't think it'll continue exactly like this. But it was just a really bad executed game from Sean. Um, our run blocking was in the first half. Our run blocking was pretty brutal. Wattenberg and Powers were really just getting pushed around there. It was not. They're definitely our two weakest links on the offensive line, and they need to step up. Wattenberg especially. He had one really good block in the second half on RJ's 50-yard run in the run game, obviously, but he just doesn't really seem like the best center on this team. Um, his pass blocking is pretty solid, but I do not like his run blocking at all. I think Forsyth could provide much better run blocking there. I think I would prefer that, and I think we could see that later on in the excuse me later on in the year. Um, I think he could definitely end up becoming our starting center. But again, I hope Womber kind of locks in, and same thing with Powers, because if they can really lock in and play like top 30 O linemen in the league, that would, I mean, they kind of already do, but we just need them to lock in if we're gonna really do something with this run game. Because in the first half, again, the blocking just was not really there. It was not the best. Another thing, didn't like it obviously was Bo. He was just very inaccurate. I kind of think he's gonna be a guy that struggles week ones because going back to his Oregon days, second to last year in college, he did really bad his first week. Obviously, last year it was bad the first week. This year, bad the first week. Um, he really might just be a slow starter. Coming off the bye week last year, I'm pretty sure he struggled. He's just somebody I think he needs to be in that rhythm. And as we get deeper into the season, like we saw last year, I think he's got to keep improving and keep balling out. Um, just this first game obviously was definitely one to forget, but I would rather have a QB start slow than finish slow, like some QBs we see in the league. Yeah, it just brutal start from him. Lots of inaccurate throws, like I said, throwing off. He was throwing on the run a lot more. He was throwing off his back foot too much. He was just making lots of unnecessary running throws. It just did not look the way. It just did not look like the Bo Nix we saw from week three on last year, and I think he will get back to that form. If I think he'll be better than that, honestly, but I think he will get back to that. And I really hope it just comes next week and we just get past week one and completely forget about it, leave it in the dust, because we need Bo to be at his best, obviously, and I think he will be at his best, but I think this might be something we have to get used to in week one. Um, I mean, Sean, he trolls week one. Bo, he trolls week one. Maybe that's why Sean loves him so much. I mean, yeah, they both our coach and our QB definitely were not at their best. They were definitely kind of. It seemed like they didn't take this game seriously, like I said before. Yeah, it just was not pretty whatsoever. Trent Sherfield, Ben, Ben, one of my good friends on Twitter. You remember him from last episode, maybe. But man, Sherfield, he did not look very good being in the role that we want him to be in when it comes to the offense. Blocking on the screen and the run, I'm pretty sure he held twice. That just we can't have that because that's kind of his job on offense most of the time is going to be to block. He'll get the occasional pass. He caught one today. It was pretty good. I think it was like 5 yards or so. But he's going to need to be better there, and I think he can definitely do better there. because he's definitely playing that Lil Jordan Humphrey role. Um, and again, we just need him to be better there. Penalties kind of stacked up. Obviously, the Titans were committing penalties left and right, but I don't think we did a very good job. I don't think we lived up to Sean's expectations at all. He definitely wants better. Fans obviously want better. The team wants better. We just cannot be having those willy-nilly flags like that. And that's I'm not just blaming Trent for this, but um he just had some two ones, two holds that stuck out to me kind of, especially because Ben's talked crazy about him. But hey, we'll just move on from that. Um, the running game took over the second half. I really liked what I saw from the run game the second half. RJ, his 50-yard run. JK broke a really nice one for a touchdown. Um, I mean, I do not know why we weren't running the ball to start the first half because, man alive, they killed it the second half. That run by RJ was just beautiful. The way he can go through the tackles, it's just crazy. He basically, when you're watching on TV, he just basically disappears in between the O line and the D line, and then he pops out and he breaks a 50-yard run. It's just from a rookie having something like that is insane. JK, obviously, again, he broke for the touchdown. He had some other nice runs in there. It's just really refreshing to have a run game, but we didn't use them in the first half, and that really ticked me off. We got to do better with that. That was ridiculous. I don't That was just completely ridiculous not to use them. There's no excuses from Sean. He said after the game that we need to do it more, and again, 100% agree with that. We have to do it more. Um, and again, this is kind of something he said last year. You remember in the Chargers game last year on prime time, he literally wrote "run the ball" on the play sheet and then didn't really run it that much. Granted, we didn't have a good run game last year, but we got to run the ball now. We got good running backs. We got to use them. It's going to help Bo so much. It's going to help the whole offense, defense so much because we're going to be holding the ball more. It's just going to help the team so much. And it was really disappointing not to see that used. Um, and it's like my third time talking about this just in this one episode. So you can just tell I'm really upset about that. We need to run the ball more. And if I don't see that next week, I'm going to lose it honestly because it's just ridiculous. We have to run the ball more. Um, again, I touched on it before. Our defense is just elite, man. It's Our defense is just so good. There's no other way around it. That was missing Greenlaw, obviously. Sanders, he's hurt. I don't know how much of an impact he's gonna have later on, but he could definitely have some of an impact. And like I said on my hot take last podcast, I really do think this defense can be one of the best in Broncos history, if not the best. It's just an insanely good defense. We just need to stay healthy and keep doing what we're doing. Vance needs to adjust later down the line because that's kind of where I feel like we've struggled. Past couple years on defense is later in the season, teams kind of adjust to our defense, and Vance doesn't really adjust back. Granted, you kind of play better teams as the season goes on. Teams play more, they get better. Um, but that's definitely something we need to see is better second half defensive play. But this defense is just absurd. Like I said, Nick was getting pressures left and right. Coop looked good. Pat looked good. The whole secondary looked good. Barron, he looked really nice. He had a really nice play to stop a touchdown before Nick got a sack in the red zone in the second quarter. Just all around great performance from our defense. Again, you can't put into words how much we needed that. That was so huge. Um, Rookies are to touch on rookies a little. RJ obviously he looked great in the limited carries. Pretty sure. Just double check here. He averaged 11 yards a rush. Um, but only got 6 carries. So again, I want to see the ball run more. If he's gonna actually, obviously he won't get 11 yards a carry, but I mean if he can just give us 5 a carry, there's no reason not to run the ball almost every single play with him and JK. He was 3.9 yards per carry, so not the best, but he got a lot more than RJ, and lots of that came down the stretch when the Titans knew for sure we were running because we were just kind of milking the clock out, trying to get to the end of this game. 16 carries compared to RJ's 6. I think as the season goes on, I think we'll even see it next week. Those carries will be pretty equal all the way through the year. I could even see RJ probably taking more carries as the year goes on to keep JK healthy because obviously he's a little prone to injuries. And we can't have him getting hurt before the playoffs or anything like that. So again, we just gotta run the ball. RJ and JK, they looked so good. Um, Pat Bryant, he really didn't touch the field. I think he should be touching it more than Sherfield should. Uh, but if last year is any example of how Sean's going to treat rookie wide receivers, is that they're going to slowly get more and more and more of a workload. We saw that last year with Vele, Troy. I think we'll see that this year with Pat too, and I think we could really use that, especially if our receivers continue to have struggles separating. Let's just put Pat out there, see what he can do at least every once in a while, because we only gave him, I can't remember how many snaps it was, but it was not double digit snaps. I really want to see more of him. I think we will see more of him. I kind of wish that just started now though. That doesn't, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me to wait really, but yeah. And then Sean, I mean, he had a rough game. Like I said, he had a very rough game. Going for the touchdown at the end of the game was a confusing decision, very confusing. But the play did work, but Bo just, I don't know what happened because obviously Sutton is like always his first read. That's his guy. He's gonna throw it to Sutton lots of the time. But he just completely missed Sutton over the field. He probably had a touchdown there if he saw him, but then he just threw that absolute moonshot up to Mims and wasn't anywhere really kind of near Marvin. But I just when he threw that up, it was almost comical how high up it went. And that was just a really weird play. Again, in the moment, it was just kind of a weird thing to go for that touchdown when you could have just taken three before taking the delay of game. It just didn't make much sense to me, but it made sense when Court got wide open. But obviously, Bo didn't see him, so we had that super weird throw up to Nix and super weird throw up to Mims, and again, that was just a really comical, confusing play. Really, I did not really understand that. So my key takeaways from this game really are our defense is elite. We knew this coming into the year, and they just cemented it even more so. Um, RJ and JK, our run game is really good. We have to use it more. Receivers, they need to lock in a little more. Same thing with Bo and Sean. Um, Court, obviously, he's great with jump balls, contested catches. I love to see him separate more. I'd love to see everybody separate more. I need to see a little more of that. And again, to touch on our defense, Nick, Pat, they both looked like they could be defensive player of the year again. Obviously, Pat was last year. Maybe it's Nick's turn. Who knows? Um, I mean, it was just a great game from the defense. I've said that thousands of times, but they deserve all the praise and credit for this game. It was an absurdly good game from them. Crawshaw, I forgot to touch on him when I touched on RJ and Pat, and I forgot to touch on Barron too. My bad. Crawshaw, he looked really good. He had some really good punts in there. Hopefully, we don't have to use him as much as we did today, as we did yesterday. But he looked really nice out there. That was really encouraging to see after a rough postseason, a rough preseason from him. Excuse me. Um, and that was really good to see again. Barron, he looked good. He kind of got limited time, but I really liked what Vance did with him, putting him in different kind of roles on the defense. He blitzed a couple times, he covered a couple times. It was just, I really liked how we utilized him, and I hope we see more of him in the future. I kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, this isn't a rookie, but we didn't see much of CAD. Kind of would like to see a little more of CAD, but as long as our defense is playing the way it is, you can't really nitpick too much. So I'm just kind of gonna leave that alone, honestly. My worries, I really do not have worries about this game. Um, Obviously, you could say you worry about Bo, and that's not really that fair, honestly. But um, I don't see any reason to worry about really anything from this game. The only thing I would kind of worry about is our receivers. They just weren't getting open, but again, there were lots of really bad routes and really bad just route combinations. It just was not a good game from Sean. Once again, it was just some brutal play calling, and that definitely affected the receivers. I think they can definitely do better. I think they will do better. So I really don't have any worries that much about this game. Um, I just I don't have any worries really whatsoever. Um, Expectations for the rest of the season don't change at all. I think that 1,000% we're making the playoffs. I really think we can compete with any team in this league as long as everybody locks in and does their job. Our defense is insane. We've seen what Bo can do. We've seen what our run game can do now. We need to lock in and put it all together at once to beat the best teams. And we're gonna get a test against the Chargers. They're a good team this year. We're gonna see that against the Bengals probably. Well, we'll see that from our defense against the Bengals because that'll be a good challenge for them. It should not be a challenge for our offense against the Bengals defense because they're pretty bad over there in Cincinnati at defense. I mean they don't have anybody on defense really. Um, and then we'll play the Eagles after them, so we'll get a nice test of 3 games there, really see what this team is made of. And even if it doesn't go well, uh, it's early in the season, so things can change. And as long as we make the playoffs, it's a brand new season. Then we gotta lock in and hopefully go a lot better than last year. Um, Things to look out for kind of next year, not next year. Next week I would say is look out for Sean running the ball more. I think we're gonna see a lot more of that. Look out for Bo doing better. I think he really will, especially after last week and after last time we played the Colts. Those were 2 really bad games. I think he's really gonna come out locked in and just really firing on all cylinders because I do not see him having 2 bad games against the Colts in a row, plus 2 bad games in a row in his second year here. I think he's really gonna come in locked in, dialed in. Our defense, obviously, I think they're gonna lock down against the Colts. The Colts looked good last week, but it was against the Dolphins, and Dolphins they're terrible this year. McDaniel's lost the locker room. That's pretty obvious. The offense is terrible. Tua is terrible. Dolphins are kind of just poverty out there. So um, yeah, the Colts they should be a challenge, kind of. It should be a game that we come out and probably win by a couple scores. And we just need to take them seriously like an NFL team. I don't feel like we did that against the Titans. Everybody just didn't really seem like they uh, came out and prepared that much. Um, and obviously, we need to do better against the Colts. I think after our performance last year against them, we'll be a little more motivated to come out and really punch them in the mouth early and just keep going at them. Because again, there's no excuse for us not starting 2-0 here. Really, we got the Chargers after that. Maybe the Chargers will be 2-0 when we face them. So Bo versus Herbert count for the division lead there probably. That should be a really good game. We just gotta go out, take care of business. We gotta take them seriously because they are an NFL team, and if we don't take them seriously, they can beat us. That you can say that for every team in the league. The Eagles could get beat by the Dolphins if they wouldn't take them seriously and if they wouldn't really lock in. Um, we just gotta come out firing on all cylinders, and we got hope for a win next week too. Really, so that's kind of all I got for you guys in today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you want me to do differently with these. Let me know if you want to see another podcast maybe before the game this upcoming week. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all have a great day. See ya.